Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode for the Last of Us TV show review. I am Voices of on behalf of the Block Party. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure to click that button. We are going to be posting these as we have been every Monday right after they air. We're going to get right into this one just because a little bit more of a filler episode. This show, obviously, I thought that this show had plenty enough to run through, but I am glad that they are diving a little bit deeper into one of the characters from the game. Now, this character's name was Bill. When we meet him in the game, we know that he had a partner, his partner had passed. This is probably the biggest shift from the game that they have done so far, which is essentially, in this, Bill and Frank die together. Episode starts off following pretty much right after the events of what happened at the State House. Ellie and Joel are in the forest, and this is the first time that we're seeing Ellie in a forest. That's the first time that she's ever been in a forest. The childlike mentality that Ellie has and that Bella Ramsey is portraying with her is actually really well done. Even as me and my girlfriend were watching it, I kept saying, I was like, it's so weird to think, like, she has never been in a forest. Like, she's never been anywhere outside of this quarantine zone since she's been born. There's a couple of other instances. While they're walking along the path, they find kind of like a quick mart on the side of the road that Joel then explains we would stash stuff in areas along our route so that if we were low on resources, we'd be able to get more resources from them. Cool concept to put into it. I believe that was talked about in the game. Just more world building around the idea of, people that were smugglers, people that were able to get things back and forth, and traders obviously had routes set. They weren't just walking willy-nilly through the woods hoping that they'll find a deer or something along those lines. They would prepare for what was coming ahead. It's a really cool concept for the viewer to really understand like what it was that they were doing. As they get there, Joel's kind of struggling to find a stash, and Ellie actually found a clicker down in the basement. This was something that was a little strange to me. You play from the point of view of Joel for the majority of the game, so this could have been something that I think they added this additionally. Ellie goes up to this clicker. The clicker is under a bunch of rubble, can't move or anything. She does a cut across his forehead. It starts to bleed a little bit, then she just stabs it in the head. Maybe I'm not as skilled of a film reviewer and show reviewer as some people are. This kind of was just unnecessary to me. I understand the idea that she doesn't know how to culturally act, so it's just this is what a kid in this world would do, but it was just strange. I don't know, especially with Joel Joel didn't know anything about it. It was just odd to me a little bit. Interesting though. We see number one, Joel talks about the fact that he dropped, it was like an AR platform, like an M16 or an M4. He puts it into the floorboard with the stash, and she's like, why would you do that? And he says, there's not a lot of ammunition for this gun, so it's almost useless. Again, world building, understanding the idea of resources within this world is so beneficial and so important for the viewer to really understand how nitty and gritty this was. Also, as Ellie and Joel were walking past this, before they got to the point I'm about to talk about, they were talking back and forth about what happened before. She kind of jokes and she's like, oh, was it monkeys or something like that? What was it? And he explains, no, they think that some of it got into a regular everyday item such as flour or sugar. And then he says even pancake mix. See his demeanor change a little bit, obviously connecting it back. He talks about people that ate it consistently, that Wednesday and that Thursday, and then that Friday is when it all happened. And so Friday morning it started to go. It's a really, really well done way of doing it. They are properly building up and helping the viewer to understand how this happened. I've talked to a couple of people about this show specifically, and it not being the regular, Walking Dead zombies that we've seen, or the staple World War Z zombies. Both of them are so completely different for completely different reasons and different viruses. This being a fungus, having a different way of it working, having a different way of it for responding, was something that a lot of people were like, well, I need more. I need to understand how how this worked that way. So they're definitely providing that information to the viewer, and it's really nice. It's an added bonus to an already very well done show. The next portion, as they're walking down this road, however, Joel says like, hey, we're gonna cut through this forest because I don't want you to see what's on the road. She's like, no, that's fine, like we're just gonna go. I obviously want to see it now. It's pretty much a mass grave, and something that is so messed up was essentially you were given two options. You either go to the QZ or you try to go to the QZ. They had gathered up all the people from this group, went into the QZ, and if the QZ was full, they put these people, they shot them all, they killed them all, and they put them in a mass grave. It's dark. Like, this show is not for the faint of heart. It's very dark, and it's a messed up thought that government officials would do this because they don't want people outside of it. And Joel even says, dead people can't get infected. It just kind of messed with me a little bit. That's about it. From then on is when the filler episode starts. It jumps back because we connect to a little blanket that was in that mass grave, and then it jump cuts to 2003, the woman holding a baby, wearing that little rainbow blanket, getting onto a truck that was for Fedra. They all leave, and we see Bill's character, played by Nick Offerman. Bill's character is there, and he is the Doomsday Prepper. He is the one with security cameras all around his house. He is the one that has a stocked bunker underneath his basement that is hidden away with a key card. He is the definition of that guy you want to be around when the world ends. Stocked up on all types of firearms, everything you can think of. He stays quiet, makes sure that everybody leaves, then goes up and realizes he's all alone. He's happy though. So goes, stocks up at Home Depot, stocks up at gas stations, gets everything that he needs to, brings it all back, and he's living his life for a couple of years. Then he meets Frank. Frank is one of the individuals that becomes his love interest during the majority of this show. This show was about 50 minutes of it was about Bill and Frank, so I'm going to kind of speed round through that because it's mostly just like their relationship developing. There's not a lot to go into. There was a crazy instance with a couple of raiders. Bill had prepped the entire surrounding area to be shotguns and flamethrowers, all types of stuff, electric fences, barbed wire. Nobody was getting in or out, and so these raiders came in the middle of the night, and he was taking pot shots at him with a sniper farther back, like a hunting rifle. He was taking pot shots at him, and then Frank went out there when he got shot, and they like helped him. And it progresses through their life. They were probably, I would say, in their late 50s, early 60s when they met in like 2007. And then jumping to 2023, Frank is in really rough condition. It's not said what exactly he has. I speculated cancer. My girlfriend speculated some type of Parkinson's because of how shaky he was. But he does say even before this all happened, there wasn't a cure for this. So in 2003, I don't really remember what had a cure and what didn't. I know cancer definitely didn't, unfortunately. So that was something that they led up to. Two individuals crushed up a bunch of pills, put it into their wine, had a really nice last day, and then Bill wrote a letter to Joel. At about the 2010 mark, Joel and Tess became the only friends that Bill and Frank had. They began trading back and forth, different types of nutrients, different types of seeds, all those different things. And I'm pretty sure that's how Frank was able to get the pills that he used at the very end, was from his dealings with Joel and Tess. You see the two individuals, they take a couple pills and they go to sleep. And Joel and Ellie stumble upon the place later because they're trying to check in. They never saw them. It never shows them, which I am glad. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to see that. But they left everything in the house to Joel. And we see emotional side of Joel because Bill in his letter had wrote, use these resources to protect and keep Tess safe. And I think it kind of dawned on him, like, once again, his failure that he's had. It's the fact that he couldn't save his daughter and he couldn't save his love. So it then even pushes him more into the father protector role for Ellie. We see a good amount of chemistry being built between them, a lot more than the last episode. And in this one, at the beginning, they're getting more of a rapport back and forth. She's understanding more. He's talking to her more. And when we at the end, Bill had kept his truck in pristine condition, and kept the battery separate so that it would be in proper order. So he had kept it completely contained. They were just able to charge it up and put it right into the car, and they were able to leave with the resources that they could put in the back of the truck and the back seat. Ellie has never seen a car. She's never been in a car. That's what she talks about. So it's weird seeing someone see like a 2003 S10 and think it looks like a spaceship. That was something that, again, it's putting us into the worldview that they have, putting us into those point of view and that the shoes that they are filling. All in all, the episode was well done. Cinematography was great. The character and the backstories were really well put together. Was a filler episode. I'm glad that I got to hear more about Bill. I liked the interactions we had with Bill in the game, so I was sad not to have that. All in all, this one's going to get like a solid 8.7, 8.9. It's mostly just because no matter what show it is, even if I love the show so much, I don't like filler episodes. I really just want to stick with the main characters. If it means that it's less episodes, that's fine. Give me those. I don't like the filler episodes much. But this one was well done. Nick Offerman did an outstanding performance, as did the individual who played Frank. If you enjoyed my thoughts and opinions on the latest episode of The Last of Us, come back and check us out next Monday. We're going to be posting these consistently every single Monday, right after The Last of Us airs on 9 p.m. on Sunday nights. This has been Voices of, on behalf of the Block Party. We hope you guys have a great night and enjoy your day.